depend on me.
To give you
Weapons and
more information for your journey and still you still shit and try to hurt me. Life's tough.
When you're an NPC.
Life's rough.
Hello everybody. I think as you can tell from the thumbnail, today's going to be a little bit different. I have plenty of stuff to do here, plenty of games to review, hundreds if not thousands at this point. But every now and again I want to break up the monotony because, let's face it, whenever we talk about gaming, it's not just about the games, is it? Not even slightly. Role-playing games aren't just about the books and the games that you can play. They go far beyond that. There is the discussion of what storytellers should and should not do. There are tactics, thought processes, and debates among the nerd community. There are discussions on party dynamics, player deaths, and topics that stray into the realms of the deeply philosophical. Basically, this is a way to break up the monotony here. My entire intention is not just to have the same show over and over again, you know, review game, review game, review game. So every time we hit the 10 mark, instead of reviewing a game, I want to take a look at different aspects of the RPG and nerd community at large and try to tackle a couple of deep issues that these kind of communities have. In other words, this is the area where you're going to hear the debate on the New World of Darkness versus Old World of Darkness, how to handle the concept of player deaths, historical information such as the legacy of Gary Gygax, and so forth. And with that being said, the first issue that we're going to take today is the problem with GURPS. For those of you who are not aware, GURPS is one of the most lauded games in RPG history. Created by the man behind Munchkin, Steve Jackson, GURPS stands for Generic Universal Role-Playing System. Wait. Before you get turned off by the concept of generic, trust me, GURPS is fucking awesome. GURPS is pure awesome, from start to finish, and the reason being is in its concept. GURPS is meant to be the pure modular game. It does not strive to have a mythos or a world to build. Instead, it lets you build the world. It lets you build the characters and the universe. The purpose of GURPS is to simply take the system that it creates and put it to any universe that you need. So you wanted a game of Firefly? You go to GURPS. Maybe you want a very obscure science fiction television show that does not have its own role-playing book? You go to GURPS. Maybe you want to play Cyberpunk but do not want all of the corporate dealings that comes with it? You go with GURPS. Literally everything is GURPS. Everything falls under the GURPS category. Complete with a dice system that only requires 3d6 and nothing else, it also ensures that everyone can play it. D&D is great and all, and also there is the unspoken rule that your DM gets you your first dice set whenever it's your first role-playing experience. But the fact of the matter is that the set of uniquely shaped dice are not always readily available. It is a lot better today with the advent of the internet, as well as the fact that game shops are now more readily available as well. But back in the 80s and 90s, if you didn't live near a game shop, these dice were strange runes that you only heard about but never actually saw. GURPS said, all you need for this is craps plus 1 in order to play our game. GURPS can be modded from anything, literally anything. Cyberpunk, science fiction, steampunk, fantasy, modern day, werewolves, vampires, you name it, you can do it with GURPS. This is also the reason why this is the closest to a video review of GURPS that you will ever see. I already touched on everything and we barely into this video. It is a great game that is universal to all aspects, and the genre of nerd culture that you need. It is, in a strange sense, one of the few examples of a perfect role-playing game out there. So in other words, crit. But that isn't what we are here to talk about today. GURPS is a crit, and you will meet precious few people who will disagree with you on that. Without a doubt, one of the best games ever made. But that isn't the whole story, is it? That's the reason why we're here today. GURPS is easily one of the best games out there, but there's this black cloud always following it, this dark aura, and that is what we're talking about today. So, what is this problem? What could be following around this game like some sort of dark stalker? The problem is actually relatively simple, and it's this. Nobody wants to ever play GURPS. Now, when I say this, I do mean that people do not want to play GURPS, but there's more to it than that. There are people who want to play GURPS because GURPS is awesome. But the problem is that no matter how great GURPS is, GURPS tends to only be used up until they find a game that is tailored to them. GURPS is basically your plan B. GURPS is the game that you play whenever you do not have your game, whenever the game is not satisfying enough to you. You don't pick up GURPS because you actively want to play GURPS. You pick up GURPS because the game that you have doesn't exist, or maybe the game that you want to play is not satisfactory. GURPS is always the plan B. This doesn't take away from the greatness of GURPS, but the problem still remains that there is this feeling of melancholy whenever you reach for a GURPS game. Oh, there's no good Firefly game? Alright, let's do GURPS then. This isn't to say that some people have had a great time with GURPS, or played a great GURPS game, or maybe even some have actually decided they just want to play GURPS. But still, the idea of having a book and a game that is completely tailor-made for your interest, for your fandom, comes across as more appealing. Going back to Firefly, fun fact. A couple of years back, I ended up finding out that they made a Firefly role-playing game. A legitimate one. This one right here, that was not the really shitty Serenity one that could only take the mythos from the movie. I was so happy whenever I saw this, and the first thing I thought of was, finally, I don't have to play GURPS. I can play my Firefly game. And the funny thing is, GURPS is 30 times better. Easily. The Firefly RPG is a story for another day, but the fact of the matter is that even though Firefly was good and GURPS was a shitload better, I'd choose the good option over the astounding option simply because the name Firefly is on the damn front. It's stupid and biased, I know, I get it 100%, but the fact of the matter is that I am not alone in this. There are tons of gamers out there that secretly or admittedly yearn for their tailor-made experience, their tailor-made game, even if it's subpar compared to GURPS. There is this feeling of looking forward to the day whenever you finally see your game, instead of having to go to GURPS and just looking at generic role-playing and then tailoring it to you. And thus, we have hit our apex. The problem with GURPS is that it's one of the few examples of a perfect game that nobody really wants to play. Call us self-centered, call us egotistical, but the sad fact remains that in this great RPG world, we want the games that are tailor-made to us. And thus, we have come to the first end of our Critter Miss special. So, please, like and subscribe for more. Also, please go to tannerreviews.com as well as projectderailed.com for more from me and from my friends and associates. And come back next week for a truly astounding experience of role-playing. The Spirit of 77.